Support for the 404 Show comes from the Digital Marketing Institute, helping over 10,000 professionals worldwide to fulfill their potential in a variety of exciting roles, from growth hacker to social media specialist. Over 80% of students are enjoying successful careers in the digital industry after completing a postgraduate diploma in digital marketing. Study online and enjoy 24/7 access to your course. You never have to worry about missing a class again. You can earn an internationally recognized qualification that is validated by leading tech companies including Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and do it at your own pace. Digital is transforming the way we live and work, and the Digital Marketing Institute can help you to develop the essential skills you'll need to succeed. Visit dmipostgrad.com to download a brochure and kickstart your digital career today. That's dmipostgrad.com. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you to you right now listening so much for tuning into the 404 Show on this Friday, October 2nd, 2015. Time for the weekend to begin, so sit back, relax, and enjoy about an hour or so of myself and Mr. Russ Frushtick.
Why, hello there.
Is this spooky voice because it's October?
Boo.
You're such a dummy.
Says the ghost.
How are you, bud?
I'm lovely. This seems like a good weekend to listen to podcasts, at least if you're in the Northeast, because we're going to get a crap ton of rain this weekend.
So I hope you download it right away because the power will likely be out.
Right. You need to listen to this podcast by candlelight.
It's going to be a really old-timey sort of situation.
Yeah.
We're recording this on Wednesday, a little bit ahead of schedule, and I believe today is like podcast day.
What do you mean Wednesday is podcast day?
This 2 days ago was podcast day.
And how do we celebrate?
I don't know. Like, what's supposed to happen on podcast day?
Do we get money?
I don't know. Like, is there a union that we're not paying dues to that we should be collecting some sort of check?
I feel like if any day were to give us some sort of reward, it would be today.
I don't know. I'm just trying to inquire a little bit more. I don't know, podcast day. You seem a little unorganized.
I feel like every day is a stupid ass, thoughtless, like, hey, it's second mailman's replacement day.
It's ridiculous.
Like, enough already with the days. Who needs the days?
There doesn't need to be a puppy dog day.
And each city has its own series of days. Like, so you could, October 30th is Jeff Backlor Day, but only in this little tiny New Jersey city that no one cares about.
Well, first of all, they care about the city. Second of all, no, you don't need every day to be something. I don't need a day to be Bagel Day.
Right.
First off, that's every Friday. Okay.
Well, also every day because I love bagels.
Yeah, and Bagel Day is every day, and Puppy Day is every day because puppies are the best.
Hell yeah.
All right, so let's get that crap out of the way. I want to talk real quick about last week's episode with the very elusive, the very interesting, mild-mannered, monotone at times, Derek Waters.
I mean, that's just sort of who he is. He's sort of like, that's his tone of voice. It's like very even keel. And
yeah. I got tons of different kinds of feedback. So let me start from a personal point of view.
Okay.
I loved him.
Very nice guy.
I thought he was so freaking nice.
I was really disappointed I was not here. I was in San Francisco. I missed it.
It was a bummer. And then apparently he went to do like Howard Stern the next day. So clearly we set him up for like what he needed to be.
Do you think Stern was pissed that he came on this show first?
I think Stern was like, man, I can't believe 404 scooped me again.
I think so.
I'm just happy to be on the same freaking stop.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know, the same like junket
Pretty impressed.
So yeah, he's a very interesting dude because, and when I say interesting, I mean, you know, it takes a second to like figure out what kind of guy he is. And we joked around a little bit beforehand, and that's usually when I sort of decide what angle this interview is going to go in.
Sure.
You know, whenever a celebrity comes in, I'm always like, what kind of, you know, I know what this person's like in the public eye and on TV. What's this guy or girl like in real life?
Will they be cool if I tickle them?
Right. Would it be cool if I made like, I don't know, some kind of off-color joke?
Yeah. Or like MASH notes.
Right.
dedicated to them.
He was really receptive to all that stuff. He was a really good dude. I could tell he had not been awake for very long.
Sure. What time did you do the interview?
So it was 10 a.m.
Yeah, he seems like a night kind of person.
As am I.
Sure.
It was the first thing I did on Wednesday, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I love talking to him. He's super down to earth, just a normal guy who had a great idea, who has some really funny friends, and got this show off the ground. If for whatever reason you don't know about it and maybe you skipped last week, go back and listen. I'm also putting together some stuff for a video because we did sit down on a set and do the whole interview.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about I'm cutting it up right now, and I'm gonna make that a little shorter than the 40-minute podcast that came of that.
Yeah.
So
exciting.
You don't have any questions for me? You're just going to listen to the...
I'm just going to listen to it. I was traveling. I missed the whole thing. And I feel like if I asked you questions about what happened, that seems like I'm super lazy about it.
No, it's fine. Yeah, like I said, I got all kinds of different reactions from people, which is usually par for the course.
Yeah, sure.
But it was like pretty much split down the middle.
I do love the show.
Yeah, the show's
really
great.
tremendous. It's one of my favorite shows on Comedy Central. And just a show that you can watch no matter what. Like, you don't have to catch up. There's no references to older episodes. You just pop in, and it's a bunch of famous people reenacting drunk hilarity.
And they had Will Ferrell recently.
And very few shows have real live puking on them. I guess reality shows probably have a fair amount of that, but sometimes they blur it. But there's a lot of puking in Drunk History, which I guess is to be expected.
Well, they were, he was saying like that's not what they aim to do.
Sure, but no one know. Like
you never know.
You never know what your limit
You never
is.
know.
I would probably be like 2 apple martinis down, and that'd be it for me.
I did talk to him a little bit about that apple-teenies. That's it, just 2.
Just 2.
You're
That's
just
all I need.
lightweight?
That's all I need.
At least you're having the apple-teeny. At least you're living your life.
Yeah.
God damn it. I asked him. I was like, yeah, what's the deal? Like, a lot of people kind of stole your idea. Like, do
you mean the wedding?
Yeah, like
people?
that.
I mean, whatever. They didn't make money on that.
Go back and listen to that.
Yeah.
He's
not happy.
I don't know. I said it, and he was like, "Oh, what do you mean?" I'm like,
"Oh,
right." I'm like, "Well, what do you think?" He gave me an interesting answer.
Okay.
But I was like, "Yeah, a lot of people kind of do this." I mean, I want to do it. Like, I want to explain like the history of Apple wasted.
Totally.
Yeah. Like that's what I want to do.
Right.
But I want to do it on CBS This Morning. I want to go there at 8:00.
Yeah.
Blind drunk.
Take a peyote button beforehand.
Right.
And
maybe drop
happens.
some acid too, just to balance me out.
Yeah.
And just talk to Charlie Rose about like what Steve Jobs is and like how he's kind of a dick in real life.
Because he's still alive.
Was a dick in real life.
Yes.
Anyway, let's talk about some of the stuff that's happened this week.
Big week.
And it's been a busy week so far.
Big week for technology.
If you like technology, you're half in the right place.
Yeah.
Because we're going to talk about Google and their Nexus phones that were announced earlier this week.
I feel like this is good timing because we just, I think a couple episodes ago, talked about how you were like, I want to get an iPhone.
Yeah.
I feel left out. I just want to iMessage with Stacy all the time and just like JK LOL emojis with her nonstop. Do you still feel that way?
No, because I already bought this new one.
Okay, great. Well, that answers that.
Yeah.
How long did you wait?
Instantly. I was refreshing the store.
Oh my God.
Well, so here's the deal, right? Like my big thing is the camera.
Sure.
And I've become frustrated with my G3 camera.
How old is that? How many years ago?
About almost 2 years old.
Okay.
I don't know. I just got a little too frustrated with Apple. And when you look at like the 6S Plus, I mean that phone's super ugly.
I mean, it's huge.
It's huge and it's very ugly.
It doesn't look dramatically different from the 6.
No, it does. You're talking about a 4.7 screen to a 5.5.
No, sorry, I meant the 6S versus the 6.
Oh, right.
The
plus
design-wise, it looks the same as last year.
Yeah, the year over year, there's no like form factor change. But like this was the first time I held a 6S Plus.
Yeah.
And I'm holding this thing and I'm just like,
it's enormous.
Good God, is this ugly?
I don't find it ugly. I think they're kind of nice.
They need to get rid of those bezels.
Well, the issue is, especially with the 6S
and
Plus,
that button.
You need a case. Like, I've never not had a case for those phones. A, because they're hella expensive, and B, because like it's easier to hold, and it actually looks pretty good if you have a decent case on it.
Right.
So I mean, that sort of sucks because you're throwing down hundreds of dollars, and then you have to throw down another $30 for a case.
Sure.
But what are you gonna do?
So here's the deal. So I'm leaving Verizon soon.
AT&T.
I'm gonna go to T-Mobile.
The uncarrier.
Yeah, I'm gonna get myself uncarried.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go
just because of money.
Money's part of it,
sure.
but at the same time, I'm just frustrated with Verizon not giving a shit about me. Like, I don't, and I'm not saying T-Mobile's gonna come over and make me dinner,
right?
But
I want some leverage.
I want to feel the love a little bit,
sure.
and I want some leverage, and I want a company that isn't like, oh, here's an $8.95 up your butt charge, and you're like, totally. What? Why am I paying this?
Yeah.
So
I feel like I can never leave AT&T.
That's a problem that you have to deal with.
Well, I've grandfathered in unlimited data,
right?
So I feel like this is going to be like the new rent control. Like, you're going to pass grandfathered unlimited data down through the generations. I'm gonna have to name my children Russ consistently.
It's
and
like
they have to name their
tickets
children
for the Yankees.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just gonna have to pass them down.
Right.
So I'm out of that. I don't have any awesome legacy stuff.
Right.
With
so
Verizon.
Whatever. You're free.
So I'm free. So I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna have T-Mobile pay my ETF,
sure,
which I think is awesome. And then if I don't like T-Mobile, I'm just gonna leave and I'm gonna go to Google Fi.
Yeah.
Which. Then I've just gone off the rails. Anyway, let's get back to the phones themselves. Okay. Huawei, which is, I believe, a Chinese manufacturer, is making the Nexus for the first time. This thing's a freaking powerhouse. It's called the 6P. It's got a 5.7-inch screen, a Snapdragon 810 processor.
Qualcomm.
Apparently, the camera's pretty baller. It's going to have a USB-C charging port, which I believe is the first one. That is going to maybe...
Well, the new MacBooks, the little MacBooks, the super small ones, use a USB-C to charge.
Okay.
I don't know about phones.
You think you're better than me? You think you're better than me?
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't care that it has front-facing speakers because I think listening to music on your phone is for assholes.
Yes.
So yeah, a fingerprint reader. All right, I'll take it.
It's nice.
It's gimmicky. I'll use it and see if it's important to me. For me, it's all about the camera. Obviously, that's a huge deciding factor.
But like realistic,
Marshmallow. I'm getting Marshmallow. You're getting the first version of 6.0.
But what was the iPhone 6S obviously has a very good camera too. So what was the determining factor? Just like you didn't want to switch away from Android.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I just didn't want to leave.
Yeah,
and it was just this like harrowing idea to me.
Yeah,
and
it's daunting.
I just don't want to do it, and I don't even think it would be that big of a deal.
No, and because Apple just added that transfer over from
I
Android
wouldn't use
thing.
that.
Why not?
Well, I don't know what that does.
It brings all your contacts over and then sends them straight to Tim Cook.
Sends it to his inbox.
Yeah.
I don't care because everything I use is Google anyway. So I would just hook up Gmail, and you can get your Gmail contacts in your iPhone without transferring junk.
Sure.
So that's what I would do.
Okay. And
I would use Google Photos exclusively, and I take that to the bank, baby.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sadly in the pocket of Apple in the sense that I just like, my work computer's an Apple, my phone's an Apple, and they all sort of talk to each other. It's nice.
It's because you're weak.
I'm weak. I'm a weak person.
You're just a weak person. So that's the 6P. A little pricey. Starts at $500.
That's with a contract?
That's no contract.
Free of contract.
Not free of contract.
I understand.
Bring it wherever you want.
That's not that bad.
It's not bad because think when you subsidize a phone,
it's pretty good.
You're paying that anyway.
Yeah.
And when you leave, you're gonna have to incur that cost at some point.
Sure.
I'm excited to use it. I'm excited to see how it goes. The battery. Let's not forget this battery.
Yeah, okay.
It's got a 35 milliamp hour battery.
I wouldn't take 34, but I'd take 35.
Oh, you shut your mouth because all I know is when you look at the numbers, the MAHs of these batteries, the milliamp hours, it's significantly bigger on the 6P.
Yeah,
phone's got a killer battery.
Yeah, I would wait until a company or a website, an independent website, did hardcore testing to determine how long. I don't know what website that would be, but
probably CNET.
Probably CNET.
But 3,000 is bigger than 2,000.
That's true.
And you don't need a freaking website to tell you that.
That's 50% bigger even.
So here's the deal. They've also come out with a phone called the 5X.
Yep.
And that's going to be made by LG. Don't forget, Huawei's getting the first time contract to make a Nexus phone with the higher end one. The lower end one, I wouldn't even want to say lower end, but it's called the 5X.
Confusing.
LG is making it.
That's confusing.
Well, how is that confusing?
Because it sounds like 5S, which was an Apple phone that already existed.
Yeah, like why didn't they just call it like the 5T or something?
They're going to run out of letters pretty quick, and they're going to have to use emoji. It's going to be like the 5 poopy smiley face.
You think so?
I think definitely.
5 poopy smiley face?
Yeah, it's going to be really good.
All right.
I'm eager.
As long as they don't use any of those Pope emojis, I'll be fine. So yeah, get excited about that if you aren't looking for the highest end. Nevertheless, it's a pretty well-to-do phone with very capable specs.
Yeah.
So you're not taking a downgrade by going down the 5X route from LG. I kind of like the design of that phone a lot.
Yeah,
It's not gonna It's not going to get that metal body that the 6P has, but you're still going to be well served with a pretty sleek sort of form factor with that 5X. There you have it. Those are the two new phones they announced. They also did some stuff with Chromecast, and they've got a tablet coming down the road called the Pixel C. You know, I don't know. I guess though that's a thing.
Yeah.
If you still think you need a tablet,
Yeah, I do really, with these giant phones, I have no desire to use tablets anymore.
my iPad is a $600 comic book reader.
Right, totally, 100%. It's good for comics.
It is good for comics. I kind of want the comic industry to like break away from that and make their own little thing.
Oh, really? Like a Kindle?
Like a Kindle.
That'd be cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Get all those guys to come
Good thing
together.
they have so much free money to like floating around.
Well, pool your resources, man.
Well, you're basically saying Marvel,
Marvel, Image, DC.
Yeah, but Image and DC, I don't know.
You don't think Image and DC are huge?
They're huge, but in terms of like spare money to make hardware, that's a huge investment.
So you get prorated.
Okay,
Marvel's got to, foot the biggest part of the bill. Anyway, that's that. When we come back, I want to talk about, we got to take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to talk about a game that came out this week. That is a hot mess.
A steamy hot mess.
It's a flaming dumpster fire.
Oh.
And you're going to be upset because I'm sure this franchise has a very special place in most of your hearts. More 404 right after this. Hey, Russ, you got yourself a cloud?
No. Is that a problem?
You should get one.
Oh, but it seems like it's too complicated for me. I don't know if I can handle my own cloud.
Yeah, I'm not saying you yourself. I'm saying you should hire a company like SoftLayer.
Okay.
They do clouds. They know clouds. They're an IBM company, and they deliver clouds that are built for innovation. SoftLayer is one of the only cloud providers that provisions dedicated servers and virtual servers. Did you know that, sir?
No, I did not.
It's otherwise known as a public cloud.
Okay.
I'm just breaking it all down here for you.
It's making a lot more sense now.
In layman's terms, if you will. SoftLayer is an IBM company. In fact, IBM uses SoftLayer as its cloud infrastructure foundation for all IBM cloud stuff across the board. You, our listener, can get $500 off cloud infrastructure by visiting softlayer.com/podcast. That's $500 off servers, storage, network, and security on a cloud built for innovation from SoftLayer. Do not wait. If this is something that interests you, you're going to want to jump on it right away for that $500 off deal. Go to softlayer.com/podcast. Hey, welcome back to the 404 show. How you doing?
Lovely.
It's probably raining wherever you are.
Maybe. I mean, you could be in like California and it never rains there.
That's right.
It's been about 4 years since they've gotten rain.
They're probably pretty jealous of Mars these days.
Yeah. Oh, nice reference, Jeffrey. Look at you, scientist over there.
Just call me Jeff the Scientist.
No.
What was that?
I don't know.
Is that the thing? Like you just can't do voices, so
What do you mean I can't do voices?
All right, prove it.
No, we're not doing that.
I'm just saying, like
you don't want to open that Pandora's box.
I've gotten a lot of good feedback about your inability to do a voice.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad we're sticking to that.
All right, we'll just let that one simmer for a little bit. The game we were teasing before we hit the first break, it's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater
5.
The fequel.
How long has it been since a good Tony Hawk game came out?
I think the last good game was Tony Hawk's Project 8.
Okay.
which
that had to be. I want to guess that came out in 2007.
No, it's got to be later than that.
Really?
It's got to be later than that. It's 2006.
Oh, see that?
How is that
That's
possible?
Crazy, because they did that awful motion control game. Was Project 8 before or after the like Underground? I think it was after those Underground
It
games.
had to be after.
And it just went totally. It was dead, dead.
I cannot, and we'll get back to why Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 sucks, but I can't believe that. What? So it went Tony Hawk.
I think they made 2 of those Tony Hawk's Ride, those motion control games that were awful.
So it went Tony Hawk after Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 in 2002. You had Underground 2, American Wasteland, Project 8, and then Proving Ground.
I don't even know what Proving Ground is.
Proving Ground. Oh, I remember this. Okay, it was probably
Wow.
okay as well.
It's never a good sign when the Wikipedia page for your franchise has a section called Series Decline.
Ooh.
And it just says 2008 to 2014. Well, guess what? I think we could probably extend that maybe one more year.
Wow, series decline. Ouch. Ouch. They're not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, look, here's what it is. I am not terribly familiar with the production roadmap for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5.
Sure.
It was very clear that the nostalgia, the desire to go back to your roots and to just make a game where you had this collect skate, you had the hidden tape, which is now a DVD.
Fun and DVD, definitely very timely there,
I don't even understand that. Like, why wasn't it just like, oh, collect the geotag or something like not from 2010 or something? Anyway.
It sounds like they had very little time to develop the game. And despite the fact that like they didn't have much time and there's not a ton of stuff in there, it's still they're still charging $60, which is just like a relic of a different era.
The fact that this game is $60 is a huge slap in the junk, slap in the face, slap in wherever it hurts to anyone who is even thinking about buying this game, let alone has a little piece of nostalgic, sentimentality. Is that a word?
Yeah, sentimentality. It is a word.
Okay. Towards this series. Because these games were great.
Yeah.
And this kind of smash and grab job, this quick cash grab job of what Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 has turned into, is really, really upsetting.
It seems to me like they basically accepted the fact that, okay, this franchise is done. We're setting it off. We're putting it on a little raft like at the end of Mighty Joe Young.
Yeah.
It's going to float off into the ocean.
Bye-bye.
But before that happens, we're going to goof a lot of people by making one more game, sticking on store shelves, and anyone that loves Tony Hawk is going to be like, oh, a Tony Hawk game, I'll buy that. Or I'll buy that for my nephew who likes skating or whatever. And they're going to make a little cash. But this is like, there's no way you come back from this.
So as far as I'm concerned, this franchise is over.
It's done.
This is the nail in the coffin.
Right.
If they want to resurrect it, you can keep Tony Hawk.
Sure. I think you need to because I can't name another skater.
I'm not going to point the finger at Tony Hawk.
No, it's not his fault. He's been casting checks for a while now.
And the guy is like super nice.
And he's a very nice guy.
I'm sure he saw this. I mean, I'm sure he played it before it was out and was maybe like, oh, you guys, maybe this game's broken a little bit. I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know how much of a gamer
he's a busy dude.
Yeah.
He's got plenty of other brands to hawk for. No, it's just so sad. It's really sad.
Yeah.
Okay, so why does this game suck? Why is this game hot garbage? Mm-hmm. A lot of it is broken, and I played it for 2 hours last night, and I already saw like what so many people were saying. There's huge clipping issues, meaning you fall right through the map.
Yeah.
The physics stuff is all out of whack sometimes.
Was there a big day one patch they released?
So listen to this. There was a day one patch that was like 160% the size. Okay, of the original game.
Yeah.
So that happened. It was like a 4.5 gigabyte patch for a 2 gigabyte game.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that is. Apparently that patch needed to happen because the game just wouldn't work.
Cool.
Which I don't even understand. Like, there needs to be certification for like you don't get allowed to upload the game unless
Not to mention
works.
there's got to be some people that like just buy the disc and don't have a steady internet connection or don't have have caps on their internet and can't download another 2 gigs or whatever. I don't know.
So you bring up the disc thing. And I don't know if this is a game that you can buy on a disc. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to look it up real quick on...
Because I know it's $60, which is...
It is definitively $60.
Pretty outrageous. But I can't remember the last time that there was a digital-only game that was $60.
Oh, maybe I'm
not counting
wrong.
like PC games. I'm pretty sure you can buy it in a store.
Maybe I'm wrong. I could have sworn this was like only download. But maybe I'm wrong. It looks like on GameStop. I went to GameStop for the second time in my life. It looks like you can buy it.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know. It's just
bad.
It's bad.
Is Spider-Man in it? Probably not.
It doesn't matter. Even he can't save this. Doesn't even feel like a $60 game either because it feels so light in terms of content.
Yeah.
And even if you can like ignore for a minute that the game's broken and there's severe issues with the gameplay, it's not fun.
Right.
Like even the times where it works, it doesn't. And it doesn't have that same feeling, the gameplay feeling that it did in 1 through 4.
Yeah.
Like the thing that they're going for, even that thing, they missed the mark on.
How is the soundtrack?
Soundtrack's pretty good.
Okay.
That's like
I feel like the soundtrack is right up your alley.
That's the only thing the game really has going for it. There's about 40 songs or so.
Okay.
32 songs. So, look, I would be upset if even the soundtrack glitches out. Even there's skips in the music, for crying out loud.
Yeah. So that's a big avoid.
It's sad. So that's a no buy.
No buy.
Official no buy stamp of disapproval from the 404 show.
So it feels like you've been duped into being excited about a new Tony Hawk game.
Yeah, I got scammed, man. We've all been scammed.
You know who else got scammed, as a matter of fact?
What's this?
I got a phone call this morning at about 8:30 in the morning from my mother, Miss Frushtick, who called me and said, so I just got a call. This is her talking. I just got a call on my phone, and I didn't pick it up, but then I got a text message saying, your phone has been hacked. Please call 1-800, blah, 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 blah.
Stop it.
So she's telling this to me. And I'm like, okay, that's a scam. Don't call them.
Right.
And she's like, well, I called them.
Oh. Well, I called them.
And I'm like, oh, no. And she's like, well, they said I was infected and that I should go to this website. And I went to the website and they were selling this $190 virus protection program.
Oh, my God.
And thank God she did not buy the virus protection program. But she was like, he sounded so convincing. Like, he sounded like a tech support guy.
He's a con man.
And I think pretty much anyone could probably convince. I feel like people of a certain generation, our parents' generation, are just not aware of, because this is not the first time this has happened. Like, she gets emails, her thing is infected.
Okay,
whatever. She sees a banner ad, your computer's infected, click to fix, and then you're toast. You know?
I'm trying to get this out in the right wording.
Okay. She's not a tech-savvy person. Let me get that
not a tech-savvy person, but I don't think it's a generational thing per se.
Okay.
I think because 50 years ago, there were scams.
Right.
A lot of it, I'm sure, with like banking and checks and crap like that. That
guy comes to your door with a suitcase selling vacuums, but he's got a gun.
Sure.
That took a turn.
You mean the old stick up? This is a robbery scam.
Yes.
Stick 'em up. No, so I think like back before the internet, before this digital revolution, there were a lot of analog scams. I mean, look at like, now what was it? Catch Me If You Can, like that kind of stuff, where it was like really clever conning.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Now, I don't think. Let's use your mother as the example. Okay. I don't think your mom would have like would have fallen victim to stuff like that back then.
Well,
not if like Frank Abigail, who's like a pro, but I'm talking about like more low level stuff like the shit she just did.
Right. It does seem like
they're using the camouflage of the internet to seem authoritative.
Right. So like grandparents now are like, the internet's sort of a mysterious thing that has some sort of like professionalism to it. Like you don't know how it happens or who's behind it.
Right. It's just magic.
But when something goes wrong, you either have to call someone that knows what's going on, or you like search online and we have that that definition in our brains that says, oh, this is crap, like this is bullshit.
You have like a radar.
It's a radar to determine like, oh, these are scams. And I just feel like it requires like this second level of nuance to understand that, like, if you get an email saying like, hey, check out this picture, don't check out that picture.
Right.
And it's so innocuous. And sometimes it's even from a person whose name you recognize. And you like, I would know if I got an email from you and it was like a little bit weird and there was attachment, I probably wouldn't open it. And my mom and her generation probably would like that.
We have this built-in.
It's just because we were raised with it.
And I think people of that generation have it as well if they spend enough time.
Right. What's really interesting that I found out is obviously everyone knows the Nigerian scam. That's like the big internet scam.
Oh, what? I give him all my money.
He's a prince.
He's
in a bit of a dire strait here. He needs a little money to set him up. And then once he comes to the U.S., you're
set.
Golden.
You're golden.
So what's interesting about that is people say, okay, obviously no one's going to fall for that. It's the most obvious scam. Everyone already knows about it. What it sounds like is that the scammers actually intentionally make those scams as obvious as possible because that ensures that they get the most positive hits out of the responses. So the people that are gullible enough to say, oh, I might actually get some money out of this are the people they want contacting them. They don't want people contacting them and saying, hey, that's interesting, but let me ask you more information.
Have you made a keynote?
So they're intentionally making these things really blatantly obvious so they can get the people that are most gullible and most likely to give them money, which is kind of really interesting. It's kind of a social engineering thing.
It's a social engineering thing, and it's like, man, that's kind of smart.
It is.
You got to give these scammers credit.
And then the other thing you were saying about the old generation of scammers, you have to consider in all those instances, that was a one-to-one moment. You were scamming, let's say, the bank teller on the other side of the table. You weren't trying to scam 50,000 people with one email.
Which is phishing.
So essentially, like, their level of, like, time commitment is so much lower. And, you know, if they get a 0.01% response rate on one of those emails, that's a success for them.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was Frank Abagnale trying to go from bank to bank, that would never be a viable scenario.
Right. It's so true because you don't realize, man, they're as crazy as it is, and as many hundreds of thousands of people that would never even think to click that link, there's one.
Right. Yeah.
And that one gets obliterated.
Right.
I mean, you there's no coming back from that.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it's just not, I don't think it's something you can, I mean, eventually if you're using it enough, you can try to, but it's happened a couple times for like innocuous ways to like change passwords, people asking to like change her Apple passwords.
Right.
And I just don't know how to like, I'm like, that's a scam. I knew the second she started talking, it was a scam. And it's just like,
was it like slow motion where you're like, no?
Yeah, it was over. So that was a fun little morning. There's been a bunch though. There's been a bunch of scams.
There's so many, and I kind of like them. I like them because I like the smart ones.
Okay.
Like the ones where there's like bank stuff involved. I mean, these people are criminals.
Sure.
And I'm not endorsing it.
Sure.
I'm just
the ones that are like
it.
the most limiting in terms of personal damage, I think I'm relatively fine with.
Oh, I'm not fine with any of them. Like you can call a lot of things scams
sure.
and whatnot. So if you've been on Facebook this week, you've seen, now this isn't a scam, it's just a hoax.
Yeah, it's a hoax.
So if you're one of, so look, everyone's like, you never know, it could be real. I gotta put this thing up. Okay, if you're that kind of person, there's other things in life that you're overlooking as well.
Let's be clear of what you're talking about, though.
We're talking about a scam that has been repopularized for whatever reason this week on Facebook.
It happens every 6 months, but yeah, this week
roughly
is another one.
What it is, somehow through social assholes, which I'm going to start calling a thing.
Okay.
It's just people on Facebook who don't know any better.
Yeah.
Just click whatever button they're told to.
Yes.
And like whatever hell the thing. And yes, it's bad. The thing with Facebook is everything with Facebook is bad.
Yes.
Because Facebook, and I'm going to put the hoax on hold for a second.
Okay.
And I'm having these stream of consciousness that I just need to get off my chest right now.
Dennis Miller.
The problem with Facebook is that it confuses too many people. And too many people see shared articles that are from bullshit sources come through their feed and they think it's the fucking New York Times.
Yeah.
And they click 100%. It and they're like, shit, that clip art's like a source I want to read.
Right.
That looks like a professional journalist did that, and they click it and they share it and they take it as fact.
Yeah.
And that is the freaking problem.
It's even
with Facebook.
Right. I completely agree. And they don't make the source very obvious. There's even bad instances where the New Yorker has this kind of lame parody column called, I think, the Borowitz Report or something like that. And I'll see posts from that report on my Facebook feed, and it says it's from the New Yorker, and the headline will be something like Congress does, I don't know, outlaws ice cream or something like that. But it's from the New Yorker. So I'm like, what?
You're like, what?
And I have to like do research into whether this is legit or not. Facebook is awful. I completely agree. It's very it's just deceptive about like when you're clicking through stuff, what you're looking at. Like most people don't do the legwork to like care about sources and stuff like that.
So because that is now our process.
Yes.
Meaning we don't do any of the legwork and we take everything almost as fact on its face. Something has to happen. Now, I know you're going to be like, oh, well, how can you like somehow police that? And like, oh, if they're putting a story from, bobdoe.com, the integrity and the reliability goes down to zero. You need to do something.
Yeah.
You have to do something.
Right.
Just because it's shared 180,000 times doesn't mean it's coming from someone who knows what the hell they're talking about.
Did you hear about the NPR April Fool's joke that they did last year?
No.
NPR did a post that just said as the headline, "Why doesn't America read anymore?" and posted it to their Facebook feed. And the Facebook feed was filled with comments being like, "Screw you, NPR, I read all the time."
Right.
But if you click through, it says, "Congratulations to April Fool's jerks.
Right.
You all commented on this article about how you read all the time." And
we are a headline and move on
it's
society.
I can't say
it's infuriating. So this is why this kind of stuff happens.
Yeah.
Is essentially what I'm getting at. For whatever reason, these and the worst is when you see someone do this that you kind of respect.
You need to say what it is first before
I know.
we've been building that for like 7 minutes.
It's a hoax where people are under the impression that everything they post to Facebook, including their images and whatever, become Facebook's property. That's the long and short of it. And by somehow posting 5 paragraphs on your feed, you somehow absolve yourself and become the only sole proprietor of the content that you post.
Yeah.
As if that would be the way Facebook is doing that privacy.
Yeah.
That's the way they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're just having 1 billion people put that on their wall. That's the way you solve this problem.
Yeah. It'd be like going to a baseball game and you're in the audience with a video camera and you're filming the game.
I know what you're getting.
And you announce, "This is my personal video. I'm only doing this for me." And then the MLB would be totally cool with you posting that and selling it.
It's fine.
Like, what is wrong? And really, if you post this on your Facebook page, all you're doing, and you're doing it very clearly, is saying to all your Facebook friends,
unfriend me.
Unfriend me, I'm an idiot. Congratulations, you're friends with an idiot. If you'd like to rectify that now, it's a good time.
Look,
unfriend me.
I use this as an opportunity to thin the herd.
Totally, 100%.
Oh my God.
It's great.
I got rid of 15 people.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. It's such catharsis. It's like, later,
bye.
You're no longer in my life, moron.
We're no longer acquaintances, you bleeping idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the worst, like I was getting to before we said exactly what this thing is, the worst is when it's someone you really like, or someone you really maybe respect,
right?
And you just see him or her do it, and you're like, oh shit,
yeah.
Do I post on their? Do I comment on it? What do I do?
There's no way to handle that.
There's no good way to handle it, because it's going to end in is
you would have to direct message them. But the problem is the direct message couldn't be anything other than, "Hey, you're a bleeping idiot."
I want to... Okay, a family member of mine, which I will keep nameless.
Sure.
I will not name him or her.
Okay. Stacy.
Stacy Bacalar. No. One time posted something, and he or she has done this like half a dozen times already.
Sure.
He or she put a story on Facebook. It was just like cut and pasted text.
Got it.
Where it was like, if you're ever at an ATM and you feel like you're someone like a shady character is around, there's a way like if you're being held up at an ATM, all you have to do is enter your PIN in backwards.
What?
And the ATM machine will call the cops.
Oh my God, that is really bad.
Aside from the fact of what do all the people with the code 1001 and so on do?
Right.
like just think.
Oh.
And maybe there's a separation of how people think they are perceived on Facebook. Maybe that's a part of this whole thing.
You think they're joking,
too.
Maybe?
No way. There's no way. Now, I see someone like cut and paste this stuff and like add in funny things there. Where I give no one the right to do anything because I'm not an idiot.
Sure.
So those are pretty out there when they occur.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a whole weird psychological thing that Facebook has done to us that I just can't quite put my finger on.
I think a big part of it is just you live in a place where relatively people are of the similar mindset. Kind of close enough.
But there's still some people who are internet stupid. Where like they're totally lucid and put together in real life.
Sure.
The second they get them hands on those keyboards, they just crap themselves.
Right.
They just don't know what to do.
Right.
So I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I'm not saying we're better than. Well, no, we're clearly better than
no
better
question
than
about
you.
That.
But come on, I mean, if you went to Yale, like I have people who are like straight up scholars.
Sure.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
there's no winning.
So that got me thinking like, oh, what are other really good scams? Stuff like that. So there's a lot of like, so the scams come in all shapes and sizes, do they not? They come through the mail.
Yep.
A lot of snail mail scams are a thing. I get a lot of the ones like I have a landline in my apartment so we can buzz people in.
Yeah.
And I don't know, 6-7 times a month you get one of those like, congratulations, you've won.
I get that on my cell phone too.
You've won a yacht.
Right.
They give away a $40 million yacht. That's what they're going to give me.
Right.
So I just what I do is I just pray that a human being picks up.
Oh,
so I just have like a 10-minute thing with them. Where I just
do you like have a conversation?
Oh, I do it all the time.
And what do you like? Ask them questions about the service?
Yeah, because I want them to think that they've reeled in like a really big fish.
Sure.
And they're like, oh boy, I gotta keep reeling this guy.
But don't
in.
you think they're also judged based on how long they keep people on the phone?
No, because there's zero. That's like. I mean, I'm sure there's people like me. Look, even if that's true, I'm still throwing off the
ratios.
The ratio.
The actuarial tables are getting.
I'm still
lost.
Screwing up their.
That's
junk.
probably true. I just use my phone's ability to block specific numbers, and whenever a spammer calls, I just add them to my spammy list.
Right, but that's not going to do anything.
I mean, it does.
They don't
minimize,
always use the same number.
They don't, but it has minimized the number of calls I get on my cell phone. It's kind of nice.
Cell phones, I almost get none.
Yeah,
that's great. So it got me thinking, and I looked up. So there's like from NewJersey.com.
Okay.
I don't know why they came up quick. Maybe it's a location thing on Google. But they have like 5 really big scams to watch out for in 2015.
Sure.
So their number one scam was ransomware.
Ransomware?
Yeah. Do you know what that is? It's basically
let me guess. Is it an app that uses those crazy cutout letters to write notes to people? And
if you ever want to see your D drive again, come to this.
Because it's a pain in the ass to find all those different kinds of letters.
It is.
Like you can get the M from Mad Magazine, but
it's
like
dedication.
Where are you gonna get another M?
I don't know. It's dedication.
Maybe from the magazine part
or
of
Maxim.
Mad Magazine.
Or Maxim. So yeah, like they're talking about ransomware. I've never really come into contact with this, but a lot of people, fall victim to instances where they will either be approached by someone impersonating a figure of authority, who says like, you're on this list, and your IP address looked at child porn,
right?
And if the only way you can get around this is a one-time fee of $5,000, sure enough, people pay it.
Jared, in particular, pays it.
tasteless. A lot of mobile payment scamming.
Yeah.
A lot of the concerns. Well, so a lot of people are overly concerned about mobile payment scams, but most of them are unrealistic. Some people think like, oh, if I leave my phone too close to a reader, it'll get charged somehow.
The NFC stuff, yeah.
But it's not that. It's more about like getting tricked into paying for something that you didn't necessarily sign up for.
Right.
As the list goes in through like credit card chips.
Oh yeah.
That's a scam.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can get scammed with that because the chip is exclusive to the card.
Yeah.
While a number can be written down or whatever, the chip is exclusive to the card. So that's a thing to consider. In October, I believe, of this year, they're switching over the way credit cards are used in the country, where now you'll have to like have a card with a chip, and apparently that chip is like the only way to really pay for something.
Cool. Great.
And you'll like stick that in a thing.
Sure.
What do you think of that?
I think it's great. As I understand it, in Europe, credit card fraud is very, very rare.
Right, because they have a way better system.
Chips. So that's great. My card gets stolen probably twice a year, and it's a big pain in the ass. So
Austin Walker from Giant Bomb was telling me about a money order scam that he fell victim to, where he was selling something on Craigslist, and the guy who wanted to buy it was like, "Hey, I'm going to send you a money order," and Austin's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
The guy sends him a money order and then says, "Oh, I sent you the wrong one. Can you cash it and give me the money back, and I'll send you the difference?" And essentially, what it is like the money order is for too much money.
Yeah.
And you send them back more than what it was originally worth. There's like all weird, subterfuge.
I don't even know what a money order is.
Yeah, like who the hell uses that? Like, I'm sorry, you found something on Craigslist and then you're going to use the most antiquated way possible to pay for it? Come on. So there's a lot of scams out there. Watch your back. And if something feels fishy, furry would raise eyebrows as well. Just search for it, because odds are it's been documented.
Talk to someone that you feel like knows a thing or two about technology. Like literally one simple question of, "Hey, this is kind of weird. What's up?"
Right.
And if you're a parent and you have kids that know technology or vaguely know technology, they'll probably instantly tell you, "Oh, that's a scam. Stop whatever you're doing."
Throw your computer out the window.
Yes.
Man, a couple of years ago, I was away skiing and I got a call during the day, and it was from someone claiming to be LifeLock, which is that personal security.
Sure. And
LifeLock goes, "Hey, something about your information's been compromised." And I've been like, "All right, well, I've never signed up for LifeLock."
Right.
And they didn't want anything from me.
Right.
They just kept saying, and I don't know. I don't know what it was about. It was this nonstop back and forth, and I was mad.
Sure.
Because they called me, they knew my name.
Well, yeah, that's
which is not that
difficult.
And then they wanted like my address. I didn't give that to them. And I was just like, man, like just out with it. Like I'm clearly not going to be convinced to give you any vital personal or financial information.
Yeah.
So what the hell are we doing? It rubbed me so wrong. It was bad. Anyway, that's a little story.
To you, Jeff.
I want to hear if you've had a scam, like the most creative scam
please.
Pulled on you.
Admit your lowest moment to us, and we'll share it on the air.
Absolutely. We will gladly exploit your lowest moment for podcast entertainment.
Or even better, if you worked for a scamming company and have since reformed, but could share some really fun details about your life as a scammer.
You can never leave the scam game, Russ. Once the scam game's got you, there's no getting out.
I knew it.
More 404 after another break from a word from our sponsor. Stay tuned. A lot more coming your way. I don't know how to do mobile payments.
Nope.
I want to accept mobile payments on the app I just built. It's called Jeffer.
Yeah, what does it do?
It delivers a Jeff to your house in 5 minutes or less.
Okay, I don't know how many people would pay for that, but if they did,
I'd probably want to use a service like Braintree, because Braintree is easy code for easy mobile payments. Maybe you're working on the next Uber. Well, thank you, Braintree. I happen to be doing that. Maybe you're working on the next Uber, the next Airbnb, or GitHub. Then why not use the same simple payment solution that helps those guys do what they do on your app? Braintree makes mobile payments so fast, easy, and seamless, it's almost magical. Add it to your app with just a few lines of code and you're set to accept all kinds of payments: Apple Pay, Android Pay, PayPal, Venmo, credit cards, and even the elusive Bitcoin. And if there's another freaking way you can pay down the road, guess what? Braintree is probably going to figure out a way to accept that as well. Mm-hmm. Their payments are fast, and continuous support means you'll always be ready, whether you're earning your first dollar or your 100 billionth. So head on over to BraintreePayments.com/CNET. You want to get involved? You want to check out what these guys have to offer in terms of mobile payment solutions? Don't wait. BraintreePayments.com/CNET. Hey, welcome back to the 404 show. Don't worry, we're not interested in your social security number. We don't want it.
Nope. We already have it.
We already have it. That's the contract you agreed to by downloading the podcast. I want to talk about Spotify.
Yeah.
Quickly. You put this here. Is Spotify judging us?
It's judging me, for example. We had Shannon Cook on a couple weeks ago, and she obviously played us a lot of music. Most of the music I really enjoyed. She had a really good playlist.
I
know you
about
didn't
half.
like the Justin Bieber stuff.
I went like half, maybe.
Some of the, yeah. So apparently, my tastes kind of bounce around a bit. I kind of run the gamut. But I've been listening to the Spotify Discover playlist, which I think updates weekly. Mm-hmm. And it's essentially like, just here's a bunch of music you're probably going to enjoy. And I almost consistently, I would say 95% of the songs I really, really dig. So it's clearly their algorithm is pretty on point.
I think you're just...
What? It's good.
You just love everything.
Yeah.
Sonically speaking, you're easily entertained. Aren't you, Russ?
I might be. It never occurred to me until just now.
Are you rethinking your musical tastes?
Well, I was just really humbled because I was listening to all this music I like, and suddenly Sting came on, but it was...
Hell yeah.
I love the Police. I'm a huge fan of the Police. I'm sure that's why he was on there, but it wasn't a Police song, Jeff. It wasn't. It was that, "Have you walk in fields of barley?" It was post-Police.
When you call my
right.
name.
It was such old man pop that I wanted to jump out of my window and just end it all right there.
Wow.
It was just
Sting did that.
Sting did that with that song. And I just don't like Spotify. No one wants to hear Sting because that's what that's telling me is like, you have terrible taste. You have the most generic, like blah taste imaginable that you could walk into a CVS and hear the same playlist and not be surprised. Like it's playing on the overhead speakers.
Oh man, I don't know, dude.
I was really upset.
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
They're usually very, very good.
And again, it's not human controlled. It's just a robot.
I know, and the robot thinks I'm like a 65-year-old man wandering the aisles of CVS.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have clicked like on I don't know.
Yeah.
Something else.
All those Police
you're
songs.
to. I mean, look, the Police are great. But
yeah.
You can understand like why it would be like, oh, maybe we'll just sneak Sting in there. Sting's been asking for a few more plays this week.
I can't thumbs down it though. That's the problem. I don't know. I just wanted to tell them like, no, not acceptable.
You can't exit out or do something.
I don't think so. And even if I did, I'd be worried that it would remove all the other Police stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm an old man.
Speaking of old man, I don't know how we're going to segue into
no,
this.
There's no way to segue.
This is not an old man topic whatsoever. We're going to talk about Product Hunt's game of the week on the 404 show. What is it this week, Russ?
Yeah, so as you all know, I work at Product Hunt. You can visit producthunt.com/games.
You know, can I interject for just a second?
Sure.
Keep getting these emails from Product Hunt about like, oh, awesome podcast you should listen to. And I'm like, well, shit. Well, shit. One of the big Product Hunt guys is on a podcast.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to mention we actually just launched a podcast category yesterday. So I wanted to make sure that things launched smoothly before I introduced our podcasting thing. But it's actually pretty cool. If you like podcasts,
you always lie to your friends like that?
Yes. If you like podcasts, it's episode specific. So it's not like people are like recommending
the show in general.
Yeah. They would, for example, recommend the episode where Justin gets lost in the woods, which is, as
classic.
Everyone knows, classic. So if you have any favorite 404 episodes and want to submit them, obviously, please feel free. That is producthunt.com/podcasts, I believe.
Podcasts?
Or podcast. I think it's podcast with an S.
Yes, it is. I just went there.
And there's some good stuff on there. Definitely submit your stuff. I being, in charge of the game section, brought a game today, and it is Space Team. Did you ever play Space Team on your mobile phone?
No.
Space Team's an awesome mobile phone game that I really would recommend for anyone. Essentially, it's a multiplayer game where 4 people are holding their phones, And on your phone, you're given very explicit directions, like turn the fluboborp. It's like they use a lot of gibberish terminology like that. And on someone else's phone is the fluboborp. So you're constantly shouting back and forth directions for other people.
So
to, like,
how do they
things.
do that?
It's networked.
Is it networked or is it just like use this code and you're in?
I mean, they're networked. They're connected to one another.
So you don't, but I don't think you need to be on the same Wi-Fi.
I think you could probably connect directly via Bluetooth.
Oh, okay.
And it's a great multiplayer game. It's like a lot of shouting and chaos, but it's great for non-gamers. It's either very cheap or free. And then they just funded a card game version of it on Kickstarter, raised about $70,000. And the team was on Product Hunt answering some questions on our live chat. But if you dig Space Team or are curious about it, download the mobile game and then check out the card game on Product Hunt. It is really slick and great art and stuff. It's a really cool idea.
And how many people can you play with?
On the mobile game, I think it caps out at 6, I want to say. It might be 4, but I think it's 6. And the card game, I believe, is 4 to 6 as well.
And the card game is Infinity.
It just keeps going. So if you like multiplayer games, kind of a good game if you have a bunch of non-gamers around and you're looking to like kill a weekend. A rainy weekend, it's a good game for that.
I wish, we didn't do anything like that on this bachelor party I was just at.
You just shot each other.
Yeah, we were just shooting each other with paintball.
Yeah.
Paintballs.
Paintball.
I don't know why I adopted a southern accent when I started playing paintball, but I just did.
Yeah, it seems to fit.
I
don't know.
What are you trying to say? Are you trying to say it's like this trashy thing?
No, it's an outdoor activity.
Yeah.
That it's like hunting, and I kind of associate.
It's
hunting.
not like hunting.
It is, kind of. You're hunting men.
Yeah,
for sport.
It was weird. I thought I would be really. I hadn't played paintball in a while, and I thought it was going to be so good because I play a lot of Call of Duty, and I'm pretty good at Call of Duty.
Sure.
That doesn't always translate.
Well, the tactics translate.
They do.
So the ideas, right? So the ideas of cover and viewing angles and stuff like that are very important. What doesn't translate is your muscles, which are probably very atrophied.
Dude. And I was telling before we started recording, my quads are so jacked right now.
Yeah.
I can't even like understand.
Well, because so much of the time, and this, look, I hesitate to even say this, but the tactics that you're using in paintball is similar to like a lot of the training regimen that they use in the military. Because again, you're hiding behind cover, but you can't just like sit Indian style behind cover.
No.
That's not really. No. So you need to be like in a crouched kind of aggressive position. And potentially, if you're like pinned down by a bunch of people firing in your direction for like a good 10, 15 minutes. So try crouching for about 15 minutes and then see how your legs are doing after that. It's not a pretty scenario. And I was sore for the last time I went, it was about like a week and a half. I could like feel it. Like I couldn't move.
My right quad is so much worse than my left. And then I played ice hockey the next day.
Yeah, that's bad news.
No, it wasn't because I was like, I guess
it's different
you don't really crouch too much. And your knees are bent in ice hockey, but you're not
Sure.
Anyway, I had a blast. I got rocked in the ring finger real bad. And I had never been shot in the finger with a paintball.
Yeah, well, that's a very specific thing to happen.
I know that is specific. I bled.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you can see right here.
Yeah, that's grim.
And the craziest thing was like...
did it hit your ring?
No, that's the thing. If I was wearing my ring, I wasn't wearing it. If I was wearing my ring, I would have been fine.
Karma, man.
What do you mean karma?
You were hitting on all the paintball girls. Took your ring off.
I guess. Anyway, it happened. And after I got hit, in my head, I thought, oh, my finger's gone. It's exploded.
You thought your finger
I thought my finger just exploded. And then I'm like... And then I look at it, and it's bleeding.
Sure.
And I'm like,
was it like a lot?
It was bleeding more than I thought I'd be bleeding.
Sure.
But I was like, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It felt like someone replaced my finger with like an M80 and just lit it.
I got shot in the forehead. There was one point I was so sore from crouching that I just got frustrated and charged a point of cover just to like go for it. And one of the guys just stood up behind cover, aimed, and fired and hit me right in the forehead. And the mask covers your eyes. Obviously, you don't want to go blind. But the forehead, at least for me, was very uncovered. And I bled a fair bit out of my head. It was pretty awesome.
That's tragic. The masks we had covered your forehead. But, the rules were like, if you get shot, but at the pain that the ball doesn't break,
it doesn't count.
It doesn't count,
right?
Which is stupid.
No, I mean that's the only. I think that makes sense in the sense that like, that's sort of the only official way to determine, oh, this person got hit. It's supposed to be by, like, you're supposed to say, oh, I'm out or something like that.
There's a lot of honor code.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work. I was shooting a guy.
Sure.
In my group. We had 19 people, so we had plenty of people. Paint did not break on him.
Oh, really?
And like, I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah.
He wasn't a skinny guy.
Right.
He wasn't fat, but he wasn't skinny. And I think it was just like husky enough.
Sure.
Where like him and his hoodie,
it was like a
the
mattress.
balls were just like taking it and just sitting on him.
So the last time I went, we were, it was for a bachelor party. We were about 8 people and we were paired with some randoms. We didn't have enough teams to like fight each other.
Yeah.
And there were 2 guys that were to the nines decked in like hardcore military gear, like flak jacket,
just get
goggles. They had earpieces for like communication.
God damn it.
But they were old guys and they like were not very good. They were like not moving. So they got into the scene of it, but were not really good. Meanwhile, this other dude was in, no joke, flip-flops and like a wife beater t-shirt thing and like pajama bottoms. No. I swear to God.
And he was the best.
And he was outrageous. He was doing slide dives to like take people out. He was amazing and nothing could hit him. So you really do need to be that like insane, crazy person that like doesn't care for your well-being.
Yeah.
And you'll rock it because everyone else is just like hiding behind cover waiting to die.
I mean, yeah, I played for 4 hours. If there's one thing I learned from this 4-hour session, just camp.
Yeah.
Just camp.
Camping's the way to be.
All right. We'll do one weird animal facts. Animal facts time.
Yeah. Weird animal facts.
Hey, Russ Frushtick.
Hey, Jeff.
Tell me about this rogue cow.
It seems that in central New York, now, Jeff made the mistake of thinking this was Manhattan.
I was like, where, Midtown?
No, we mean central New York, upstate. There is a 1,500-pound rogue cow that has been eluding capture for months.
Now, if you can't catch a cow, like no one's ever accused a cow of being fast.
Yes.
What the hell's going on?
I mean, they could trot.
Maybe like 7 miles an hour?
Yeah, maybe.
You could crawl and catch up with a cow.
Okay, but argument's sake, you personally catch the cow. You're standing next to the cow. What do you do to keep the cow in place?
Am I a butcher?
No, you're just Jeff.
So I don't have the knowledge.
Well, you might have the knowledge. You might know what you need to do, but you don't have any tools.
What do I do?
What would you do?
I get in a car and I herd it with a car.
Okay. But herd it where?
Into like the nearest open barn.
Okay, so that seems complicated.
A little bit. Or I would corner him.
Okay, but he's outdoors.
I would corner him in a cornerable field or like a fence. There's that.
It seems that they've been trying. They say they have these things called headlock feeders. That trap a cow while he's eating. He's eating, right. So they've been trying to use that. Hasn't been working. The cow is just sort of kind of devious. The police tell the Utica Observer Dispatch that the 1,500-pound cow has been on the loose for several months. Effort to identify its owner have been unsuccessful.
So this guy's is an ownerless cow.
Yeah. He probably has an owner, but maybe the owner doesn't want any part of him. I do kind of wonder, do the spots have like the fingerprint thing where like every cow is unique?
Oh, no, Russ. Spots on a cow are not QR codes.
Sad. That's a bummer. Does the cow have NFC technology within it?
I feel bad. I mean, I'm not about to go say I won't eat cows because I do and they're delicious.
Yeah.
But I don't like a cow being treated inhumanely. And you know what? If this cow got free,
sure,
we can't eat him.
Let him go.
Let him go.
He's like the turkey on Thanksgiving at the White House.
He's pardoned.
He's pardoned. Let him be. I was in a rampaging cow scenario. I was staying upstate.
You mean stampede?
What?
You said rampage.
Well, no, it was just a cow that got out of a fence. We were upstate New York.
Okay.
And, this might actually sound familiar because I think you might have been there.
Oh, right.
Remember?
Oh, that's right. Oh, with the bell. He had a bell around his neck?
Yeah, he had a bell around his neck because we were staying at that house with, it was like Memorial Day weekend. We had a bunch of couples up there.
It was 4th of July, but
4th of July, same diff. And the cow, we were staying next to a farm. There's a farm
the cow got out of his pen.
The cow was legit out. He was in our lawn of the house we were staying in.
And I wasn't scared. I wasn't
scared, but what was I to do?
And they're massive creatures.
Right. And the farmer was like, oh yeah, they do that.
Yeah.
So I guess there's sort of an assumption that they normally come back, and this cow did not come back.
So what's this cow know?
Right. What does he know?
That's what you
Truth is out there.
Get to the bottom of it. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for listening. Do us a favor. Give us a review on iTunes. Helps us out a great deal. And give a little love to our sponsors as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you missed the sponsor thing, you don't know what the hell's going on, I guess you could just rewind the freaking episode. But if you don't want to do that, head over to cnet.com/the404, where every show gets its own post, along with some of the stories and links to the sponsors if you want to go that route as well. That'll do it for us. Next week, we will be back.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
At some point, we're going to figure it out. I think scheduling is going to be rough.
Same bat time, same bat place.
But we'll figure it out. Until then, have a great weekend. Stay dry if you're on the East Coast. And I'm sorry if that offended anyone on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
They're weeping right now, but not tears of water. It's tears of sand.
Is that what happens? They
Yes.
all cry and just sand comes out?
Yeah.
Until next time, have a good one. I'm Jeff Bacalard.
I'm Russ Frushtick.
This has been the 404 Show. High tech, low brow. We'll see you next time.